This section of the professional development will focus on classroom structure and strategies to change the classroom structure for the benefit of your students. Please ensure that the accompanying handout is downloaded or printed so that you can follow along and engage with the questions that will be asked throughout. Classroom structure is a term that can include different factors, including classroom routines and the physical arrangement of the classroom. Classroom routines refers to a structured sequence of steps that are explicitly taught. A common example of this is transitions. Many classrooms have specific routines for how students exit the classroom. For instance, the routine may be to line up along the wall, then wait for the teacher to verbally dismiss the students before they exit the class. Physical arrangement is a more concrete factor as it refers to the actual physical structure of the classroom, including the placement of desks, chairs, posters, shelves, and books. Now please pull out the handout for this section. I would like you to pause the video for 3 minutes as you reflect on this question. In what ways have you structured the physical aspects of your classroom to improve instruction? After the 3 minutes, you can continue the video. Generally, the physical organization of a classroom is considered one of the first steps to improving classroom management because it is 1. Relatively easy because it involves changing the arrangement of desks, chairs, and shelves already in the classroom. Thus, it can be done at any point in the semester, as well as several times, depending on how the students respond to the changes in seating arrangements. 2. It is inexpensive because the structures being rearranged, example, desks and chairs, already exist and are merely being moved around. And 3. Effective because reorganizing the physical structure of the classroom can encourage collaboration between students, supervision from teachers, and feelings of belonging from the students. The physical structures include permanent objects like walls and closets, which cannot be moved but can be incorporated into new classroom arrangements. These structures define the classroom space and must be considered as they determine the area that is available for reorganization. Most of the time, the size of the classroom cannot be changed, but how the available space is used can be. Physical organization also includes furniture, such as desks, chairs, shelves, and rugs, which can be arranged in several designs. For instance, classrooms that incorporate a lot of group work may benefit from grouping desks together rather than the classic rows of desks, while a classroom that is often off-task would benefit from desks arranged in rows so the teacher can walk around unencumbered and aid students. Lastly, this also includes visual displays like posters and decorations that make a class feel unique. The number of visuals in a classroom and their placement can also influence students, as too many visuals can be distracting. As I mentioned before, the physical environment of the classroom refers to permanent structures, placement of furniture, and visual displays. There isn't much that can be done about the permanent structure of the classroom, that is, the walls, spatial area, windows, and closets, but these aspects do define the classroom space. The furniture in the classroom, that is, desks, chairs, shelves, and rugs, however, can be moved and rearranged to suit the teacher's needs. Some general considerations while planning furniture placement are 1. Ensure that there is room for the teacher to move between and around students in this new arrangement. This is both a safety consideration as well as one for good instruction. If any student needs assistance, the teacher and other personnel must be able to attend them. Additionally, teachers are often encouraged to walk around the classroom to promote academic engagement. 2. Ensure that the new arrangement does not create hidden areas where students may hide. Teacher supervision is important both for the safety of the student as well as instruction, and hidden cubbies may lead to accidents occurring in the class. Lastly, when planning, the goal in mind should be to create seating arrangements for maximum student engagement. This can look different depending on the type of instruction occurring in the class. For instance, a classroom where there is a lot of movement of students may benefit from arranging the desks in a circle so the students may move around in the middle. Visual displays is another area that can be rearranged at the will of the teacher. When creating new visuals or arranging existing visuals, one should reflect on whether they are informative, attractive, and match the understanding level of the class. If the visuals do not aid in instruction, then it should be removed. And if it is unattractive or written for a higher developmental level, then it should be replaced. Another consideration is the level of clutter in the room. Visuals help to make a classroom unique and appealing. However, too many visuals can prove to be very distracting to students. The line between enough and too much is blurry, so we encourage you to discuss this with fellow teachers or experiment with your own class by removing any visuals that seem unnecessary and observing the classroom for any changes in behavior. These are some examples of different seating arrangements that could be used in your classroom. As you can see, there is quite a range from the usual rows of desks to creating a U shape with the desk facing the teacher to creating different groups of desks, which would be very helpful for group work. Now I'm going to show you a video that shows how the physical classroom can be organized to maximize academic performance.
Classroom. You can support positive behavior and learning by organizing classroom furniture, materials, and activities. To set up the classroom's physical environment, start with a clean, uncluttered room. Then position desks, chairs, and bookshelves so that you're able to move freely and monitor students. This teacher has arranged the room so that he can see and reach all the students in the room. Too much clutter makes movement and monitoring difficult. Areas that are out of sight invite behavior problems. When you can reach every student, you can easily deliver positive reinforcement or nip problems in the bud. Consider placing students who need extra support in closer proximity to you. That way, you can give immediate reinforcement and feedback. Now let's talk about materials. Students are more engaged and better behaved when they've been provided access to the classroom materials that they need. This sets up students for success. If you don't want students to have access to teacher materials, keep the materials out of reach. When you decorate your classroom, strike a balance in the use of signs, posters, artwork, and miscellaneous objects. Too little can make a classroom seem cold and uninviting. Too much can be overstimulating. Now think about activities. Is there a setting for group activities? Is there an area for individual work? Is there a place where students can go to settle down when they're having a hard time? When you carefully consider the function of furniture, materials, and activities, you can design a classroom environment that promotes learning and positive behavior.
I hope you enjoyed the informative video that we just watched. Now let's use the information we've just learned and put it into practice. Pause this video and use the form to answer this question. How would you restructure your class to be more conducive to instruction? Please start back the video after 2 minutes of thought and writing. Thank you. Now we will discuss the other aspect of classroom structure, class routines. Class routines describe specific step-by-step responses that students should exhibit during daily classroom activities in order to ensure that materials, furniture, and bodies are in the right place for the activity. Class routines can be used for a variety of purposes, including bathroom use. For instance, the routine may be that students must raise their hands and ask to use the bathroom. There may also be routines for computer use. For instance, the students may have to leave their desk in a particular order to get their computers, as well as for asking for assistance, entering the classroom, and exiting the classroom. These are just some examples of routines that can be implemented in classrooms. When planning classroom routines, there are some considerations that must be kept in mind. First, what transitions are occurring throughout the day? Or when or where are there problem behaviors? Transitions are typically the time periods during the day where there's a lot of disruptive behaviors going on. So these might be the time periods where you want to have a classroom routine to reduce these disruptive behaviors. But there may be other time periods during the day where there are disruptive behaviors that you would like to reduce as well. 2. How long should the routine last? If it's a transition that you're trying to put a routine in, then you may want the routine to last a short period of time. whereas in other instances, it may be okay for the routine to be a couple minutes long. 3. What is the desired end goal of this routine? The first part of deciding what routine you want to do is figuring out what specifically do you want the end goal to be. For instance, with regard to transitions, if the end goal is that the students walk to their next class in an orderly line, then that will determine what the routine will look like. For instance, it may look like the students lining up against the wall and then proceeding to walk to the next class. That procedure will then help you reach the end goal of a neat, tidy line. 4. How much scaffolding is needed to teach the routine to students? This can depend on the age of the students as well as the class in general. You as a teacher will best be able to determine how much scaffolding is needed for the students in your class. 2 common examples of classroom routines are routines for entering the classroom and routines for bathroom use. For entering the classroom, a routine that may be used is, upon entering the classroom, students line up along the wall of the room until the teacher directs them to their seats. For bathroom use, the routine may be, students must raise their hands and ask for permission to use the bathroom. Then they are only allowed to go when permission is given. These are just examples of common classroom routines that you may see in classrooms across different schools. However, there are other classroom routines that teachers may initiate in their class. For instance, there may be routines with regards to specific things that happen in their class. For instance, group work. There may be a specific procedure for how groups are formed or how students move to different areas of the classroom to do this group work. Now I will show you an example of a classroom routine used to get the attention of students and silence talking.
My friends, freeze and listen for directions. Hands in the air, pencils and highlighters down. I have heard some fabulous talk between you and your partners. I want you to have a chance with your partners to share some of that good conversation with everyone else. I want you to gather all of your things. You're going to drop off your highlighter to me on your way over. Bring all of your things to the rug.
Please pause the video for a minute and using the form, write one area of your classroom where a routine would be helpful in decreasing problem behavior or making a transition more smooth. Then create a simple routine to address this issue. This doesn't have to be a complicated routine. It can be as simple as having students place their fingers on their lips whenever they see you do the same. An important step in classroom routines is teaching the routines to the students. This is an important step because you cannot expect the students to demonstrate a skill that they have not learned. Teaching routines typically follows 4 steps. The first step is telling them the routine. In this step, you explain the steps of the routine. For instance, with exiting a classroom, the steps may be standing up by your desk, walking from your desk to the wall, ensuring that you have a specific space between you and the person in front of you, waiting for the teacher to give the signal that the person in front can move off. The second step is modeling. This is where the teacher does the routine herself as an example. So as a teacher, you may get up from your desk, walk over to the wall, stand at the wall, wait, tell them what the signal is, and then start moving after the signal. The third step is perform. The students are then asked to practice the routine and are provided with feedback. So at this point, you can pretend that the class period has ended and that the students are leaving the classroom to go to the cafeteria, and then ask the students to follow the steps that you just gave them. The fourth step is application. The students are then given numerous opportunities to display the skill. So in this step, you apply it during transitions as the students are going to the cafeteria for lunch, maybe going to break. And then you also provide them with feedback on their performance. The last question that I would like you to reflect on is how would you teach the routine you created with the students in your class? So thinking about the routine that you created previously, how would you teach that routine to your class using the 4 steps that were previously discussed? This is the end of this particular training, but please browse the other trainings that are available for classroom management. Thank you for your time.